Republican politicians came after your boy. Why? Because some might say I memed a little too close to the sun.
We've got to talk about him again. Kyle Kulinski, the left-wing YouTuber who went mega viral over the weekend for posting a Halloween costume mocking Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, as a fake grifter widow. Really lovely stuff. Well, he, of course, was widely criticized and panned for that, and shocker, is now playing the victim and released a video explaining and defending his actions. No apology, no accountability, but a lot of playing the victim and playing whataboutism. So he put out a video, MAGA cancel mob comes for Kyle, on his channel, which I just already think isn't true. I saw the backlash and I don't really recall anyone trying to cancel him, calling for him to be, I'm sure there's a couple somewhere, but most of the backlash wasn't trying to get him fired. How would that even work? His job is his own YouTube channel, trying to get YouTube to ban him. I didn't see anything of that sort, and he didn't mention it. I watched his full 20-minute video. He didn't provide any examples of that. So how he's being canceled, that seems mostly made up. I think he's just being criticized, but those aren't the same thing. So not a great start. But without further ado, let's look at the video and some of the points he made, as few and far between as they actually were. Here's a clip I pulled for you guys. Let's take a look.
I was the villain of the day for everybody right of center. So we had the Daily Mail wrote an article coming after me. The New York Post wrote an article coming after me. I'm sure there were others that I missed. Every right-wing influencer under the sun, Republican politicians came after your boy. Why? Because some might say I memed a little too close to the sun.
I guess that's one way to describe viciously mocking a widow whose husband's been dead for weeks, the father of her children. She had to bury him after an act of political terrorism and an attack on free speech and American values. And you trolled her and called her a fake grieving widow with a photoshopped Halloween costume meme. Yeah, and then people criticized you for it. What did you expect? They're all so mad at me. Oh, well, I was just memeing. No, you courted outrage and controversy, and then it found you. That's exactly what you intended and exactly what you knew would happen. So don't try to play the victim or act like you're surprised. No one's buying it, and you're not a victim just from people criticizing you. Okay, actually, it's well warranted in this case, and it should cause you to reflect a little and find some humanity and decency. But don't hold your breath waiting for that to happen. You might pass out, people. Let's keep going here.
The sun. So I posted this one. It says, fake grieving widow grifter costume includes fake teardrops, skin-tight black leather morning pants. And it shows Erika Kirk, crying with running mascara, holding a thing full of money as the money falls all over the place. I'm asking questions, but a lot of people are asking questions. And what are they asking? They're saying, why is she running her hands through J.D. Vance's hair?
Why are you hyper-scrutinizing a widow? For what purpose? When you watch the actual video, again, guys, of her hugging J.D. Vance, the video is not that weird. There's videos of her doing very similar hugs with women. Not everything is a conspiracy or an outrage. And, God forbid, you just leave her in peace to grieve. I just find it despicable. There's no need for this.
His hair. Why is she doing that? That is a very, very intimate thing to do. And I'm not sure I've ever seen that happen with people who are not dating, who are not together. Why does he have his hands on her hips? That's another thing I haven't seen unless you're dating. Why is she wearing leather clubbing sexy pants at what's supposed to be just a run-of-the-mill event, and here she is around J.D. Vance? Why did she say publicly that J.D. reminds her of Charlie?
Because they're both prominent conservative leaders. And they have similar character. That's not a weird thing to say. I'm sorry. They can keep saying that. Doesn't make it weird. It's really not. And as far as what pants she wears, dude, who cares? Leave her alone. This whole thing is just sick and twisted. And this whole video, he does not think he did anything wrong. He thinks he's spot on. And again, it's also not a joke. So the whole, I'm just joking, I just beamed too close to the sun. But then he goes on in this video to be like, yeah, she is fake. She is a grifter and she's a fake widow. She clearly is already hot for JD. So it's not a joke. You can't do the, I'm just a comedian thing when you're literally not joking. And he doesn't seem to realize that he's given up the gig in this follow-up video.
You can't have it both ways. You can't make her deeply political. You can't put her front and center. You can't put her at the head of TPUSA. You can't put her in front of every camera and microphone in existence and then get mad when we react to it.
Well, except for the part where that's not what happened at all. She getting involved in TPUSA or making political statements, I agree. It's fair game to criticize Turning Point USA, to criticize the political statements she makes, to explain why she's wrong. You don't have to attack her as a widow. That's the thing. That part you could just not do. I agree that she is not beyond reproach in all aspects simply because she is a widow, especially to the extent she is involved with a political advocacy organization like Turning Point. But that doesn't mean you have to mock her as a fake widow. You can say, you know, she's pushing America in a terrible direction. She's shilling for an evil Trump regime, whatever you want on the substance of the political work she's becoming involved in. That is fair game. Her dead husband and grief is not. What part of that is hard to explain or understand? Doesn't seem at all difficult for me to grasp.
That's not how it works. Either you're in the game or you're not in the game.
I just don't think that's true. That you're either in the game and therefore literally anything goes and is nothing is off limits, or you're out of the game and therefore you just leave them totally alone. I feel like that's not true. Like, some things should be off limits even for people who are in the game. Leave people's families alone is a good start. Just as a general rule, unless those family members are also involved in politics. And in this case, yeah, her being a widow and her kid's dad just being murdered, maybe leave that one alone, bud. I don't know. Crazy thought.
Why are they mad? They're mad because I'm right. They're mad because I'm right. They're mad because I hit a nerve.
This is a thing that people do all the time. They say something horrible and outrageous and hateful, and they go, I must be over the target. And a hit dog hollers. Okay, but also people holler when you do something terrible and wrong. So it doesn't mean that you're right just because you've said a lot of insane things or hateful things and people got mad. They also might be mad because you're being nasty. It's possible that you're onto something and that's why they're up in arms. It's also possible you're just being a jerk and people don't like it. Like that, in fact, that's much, much more likely than the alternative, that you've stumbled on a secret conspiracy here where she's moving in on J.D. Vance. And that's why people think it's distasteful to mock a widow weeks after her husband was murdered on camera. Or it could just be that people are mad at you because you're being a jerk and being terrible. Probably the more likely explanation. Occam's razor here, folks.
I hit a nerve because they know I'm getting at something real. That's why they're pissed off. Have you no decorum? Have you no civility? People like Mike Lee said that. How would the media respond to this post had Charlie Kirk been a Democrat? Mike Lee said. To which I responded, shut your snowflake bitch ass up. Edgy jokes are fine for you, but not for leftists. And what did I share with him? His own post from not that long ago. This was in the summer. I get to joke about murder. You don't get to make fun of Erika Kirk.
So I want to say a little bit about this because, one, I mean, Kyle keeps saying edgy joke. You've also made it clear it's not a joke, dude. Stop saying that. Stop saying it's just a joke. And then here's the thing. I actually criticized Mike Lee for this post at the time. I thought it was despicable that he was posting memes after people had just been assassinated and politicizing it. And he's saying, you don't get to say anything to me because you also did this terrible thing that I think is terrible and evil and nasty. But yeah, you realize you just owned yourself. You just pointed out that you are behaving in the exact same manner as somebody who you think behaves in an evil and despicable manner. So therefore, you are evil and despicable. Congratulations. That's the point you just proved. I mean, you also proved that Mike Lee is a hypocrite. We've known that for some time. That's not news. But what you also did was just explain that you yourself did the same thing as what you thought he was terrible for doing. So what does that tell you about yourself, Kyle? If you have any ability to engage in introspection, which I don't think you do.
I'm done with you. I'm done with your fake outrage. I'm done with your nonsense. Guys, let me explain something to you. This is the world that these motherfuckers wanted. This is the world that these motherfuckers wanted. You guys want your feelings, bro. We're edgy. We don't give a fuck. We're offensive. We don't give a fuck. I love liberal tears, bro. I'm drinking liberal tears, bro. Well, guess what? Now I'm playing by your fucking rules.
The moral relativism here doesn't work for me. Oh, they started it. They were mean and nasty first. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's how morals work. If you have no code of that you hold yourself to, or no respectability or decency for yourself. If the other side is not decent, I'll just be indecent too. I mean, that you're just admitting that you're the same as them then. Even whatever version of them you have in your head, maybe it's real, maybe it's something of a straw man. You're saying, I'll just become the same thing as them. Then what are you fighting against? Seriously, they argue, and I think not without reason, and not without many past examples, that Trump is nasty, that he spreads conspiracies, that he attacks people viciously, that he's so unprofessional. I think all of that is true. And now it's true about you as well. So you're not better than him on that front. And it's not as if like, oh, just be that's not a defense of your own actions. They do it too. Put this in another context, right? Imagine two countries are at war. The US is at war with another country, and that country captures some of our civilians and their soldiers rape them. Would anyone think, well, then we can do is have our soldiers rape their civilians too? They started it. No, that would still be evil and messed up and psychotic, because morality is not just purely reflexive. And that is a tit for tat pathway to hell. And that is what we're facing in this country. Both sides further radicalizing and justifying it, and hitting new and new lows every day, justifying by pointing to the other side. Have a backbone. Have some standards and decency and integrity for yourself, regardless of what the other side does, or everything is just going to keep getting worse. And I guess Kyle doesn't care, because he's successfully gotten himself clicks and attention and money from this whole controversy. And congrats, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, but you should be ashamed of yourself. And this 20-minute video didn't make anything better. It only made everything worse and make your actions look even more indefensible than they already were. Other than that, you're doing amazing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the like button and all that. And with that, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do make sure to rate and review on whatever audio podcast platform you listen to, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, etc. And with that, guys, we'll talk again real soon.